Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, it should be obvious to everybody. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from the basement bunker beneath Kettle Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage. This whole situation in California is just absolutely incredible, I think. You watch so much of this. So the president on True Social saying this is now, since yesterday, the president has sent in, actually the president several days ago sent in the National Guard. Now he's sending in the Marines. Now he has sent in an additional 2,000 National Guardsmen. So you've got over 4,000 National Guard that are currently in California. So the president's saying, if I didn't send in the troops to Los Angeles the last 3 nights, that once beautiful and great city would be burning to the ground right now. Much like 25,000 houses burned to the ground in Los Angeles due to an incompetent governor and mayor. Incidentally, the much more difficult, time-consuming, and stringent federal permitting process is virtually complete on these houses, with the easy and simple city and state permits are disastrously bungled and way behind schedule. They are a total mess. They will be for a long time. People want to rebuild their houses. He says, call your incompetent governor and mayor. The federal permitting is done. So now just think about that why should the federal process, now the federal process is done. Why should that be done before state and local governments are able to comply? I mean, usually it's the reverse of that. You have state and local governments take care of it, and then you wait, and you wait, and you wait for the federal government. Not the case in California. Totally the other way around. I think the president is reminding us. So let's go to the, excuse me. Now you can hear me. My bad. Sorry. That cough button is great. Got to remember to hit it again. There we go. Yeah. Okay, folks are hearing the audio. My apologies. So it's just incredible. Let's jump into another story. I don't want to rehash what I've already shown you here. My apologies. I thought I had hit the mute button again. I should have looked. You really, and this is one of the things that you really have to visually ascertain. Am I good? Did I hit that? My apologies. Okay, Tom Holman. This is a story from Fox News, and they talked to Tom Holman, and he's responding to the dare from California Governor Gavin Newsom, who said, "I dare you to arrest me." And Holman really is trying to clean things up here as he's talking about it. So let's join this. This Fox News. Well, they'll get into it here in a here.
Governor Newsom are blaming
here we
the
go.
Trump administration for the chaos. Border Czar Tom Holman joins us now. So, Tom, you've been leading these operations, and so instead of criticizing the people that are attacking our agents, you got Gavin Newsom, who has called for you to arrest him, and you got Maxine Waters.
Yeah, she's out there doing all kinds of craziness right now.
He's a tough guy. Why doesn't he do that? He knows where to find me. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know?
What a punk. I'd like to smack that smirk right off his face.
So clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So, Tom, arrest me.
What a clown.
Shoot some kid? He's afraid of you and run?
This is Maxine Waters.
If you shoot me, you better shoot straight. I don't know why you're in my city. You did the governor was not contacted.
Tom, what's your response?
Well, first of all, it's just ridiculous. That reporter from SMBC, he's a joke. He's a dishonest reporter. What we discussed was, for those protesters that cross the line, I've said it many times, you can protest, you get your First Amendment rights. But when you cross that line, you put hands on an ICE officer or
yeah, right. There's a difference.
I say that you're impede law enforcement or you're knowingly harboring concealing illegal alien. That's a crime. And the Trump administration is not going to tolerate it. You cross that line, we're going to seek prosecution into the Department of Justice. Then the reporter asked me, well, could Governor Newsom or Mayor Bass be arrested? I said, well, no one's above the law. If they cross the line and commit a crime, absolutely they can. So there was no discussion about arresting Newsom. And so, you know, what he's done, he's failed that state. He waited 2 days of that city burning and people getting hurt, officers being assaulted before he made any declaration of
why would you be a law enforcement officer in California?
Trump isn't late to the game. Men and women of ICE are not late to the game. And let's make this clear. I keep hearing this term ICE raids. What happened with how this riot started is that ICE was serving a series of criminal warrants at a business being investigated for money laundering, customs fraud, and serious violations on sending money to criminal cartels.
I love this guy.
Colombia and Mexico that fund cartel activities in the United States. It's a part of an overall conspiracy that ICE is investigating. So we're arresting bad people. We were enforcing laws and following up on a serious criminal investigation.
And this is what set everything off.
So that's exactly what ICE did. And ICE took a lot of bad people off the street that day. We arrested a sexual predator, arrested gang members, arrested somebody that had an armed robbery conviction. So we made LA safer. The men and women at ICE, the men and women at the Border Patrol made LA safer that day. But you're not hearing any of this. All you hear is a rhetoric about ICE being racist and ICE being Nazis and terrorists. And Governor Newsom feeds that. Just like Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah, absolutely. Hakeem Jeffries. Well, yeah, let's continue this. Forgive me.
He feeds it that he's going to unmask ICE agents.
Yeah.
The members of Congress who keep feeding this rhetoric, they're the ones that are causing this riot because they don't listen to the truth about what the men and women at ICE are doing. We're keeping our promise to American people to make these streets safe again. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And we're not going to stop doing it.
Yeah. Amen. God bless Tom Homan. The guy is an absolute machine. I mean, in what they're doing, it's just crazy. Also, Holman did another interview. This is a story from Newsmax. Oh, he's defending the Marines in Los Angeles. Now we're seeing the Marines, as I mentioned to you on the air this morning. So the president deploying the Marines. Now, again, he's deploying the Marines to federal buildings to protect federal buildings. He is not deploying Marines to quell the protests, right? You understand the difference? And it's an important one to note. They are protecting federal property. They are not there to quell the riots. Now, the president also activated an additional 2,000 National Guard. They are there to help, keep law and order. But that's not why the Marines are there. They are there to protect federal property. So Holman blamed the presence of the Marines on the protesters. And he says, they make the decisions. I keep hearing reports that they're rioting because President Trump sent National Guard here. It's just ridiculous, he told CNN last night. We don't know what's going to happen tonight. Seems like at night the crowds get bigger, the violence peaks. So we want to be ahead of the game. We'll be well prepared for the military here to protect government property. That's what I was just telling you, and protect officers' lives. So then he also said immigration enforcement is the responsibility of ICE. He said of the Marines, they're not reinforcing immigration law. We're doing that. We're immigration officers. Their job is protection of property and protection of our agents and their lives and their well-being, along with the public's well-being. So I wanted to make that point. And Tom Homan, I think, made it very, very well for you there, which is one of the reasons that I wanted to share that. Also, right now, Pete Hegseth is facing questions by Congress, and I'm taking in another window. I've got the video of this, and it's the usual nonsense. I know some people live stream the hearings, but we won't do that here. I generally don't spend quite that much time with you, so we'll move on. I did pull it up, and it's the usual. Okay, there was you've got California Governor Gavin Newsom suing the president for the illegal takeover of the California National Guard. Experts saying, yeah, you're not going to win that. So let's see what Breitbart is reporting here. That experts saying Newsom likely to lose because the president has broad authority over the armed forces. And so the lawsuit claims that the president, despite being commander-in-chief, invoked his authority, and they're saying he did this improperly. This was not, this is not the case here. He should not have, gotten involved. Can you imagine if the president had not gotten involved? I mean, wow. How long do you just allow this stuff to go on? I mean, this Democrat Party is just off the wall crazy. You see this stuff. So anyway, let's see. Jonathan Turley. Do you know whom I greatly respect? Jonathan Turley saying President Trump has the legal authority to do this. So, yeah. But it just goes on. And then I thought, for a bit of a laugh this morning, let's pay a visit to Brian Stelter on CNN. I thought that guy was gone, man. Brian Stelter is just like, a bad penny. He just keeps turning up. So he was on CNN and he said, you got to be careful, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be careful as you're looking at the videos on your phone, because you might be seeing footage that actually happened days ago, and you might not, you know, you're scrolling through social media, create a false impression. You might be looking at stuff from days ago. Here's the thing. The reality is the situation's gotten worse. It's, if you were watching videos from days, it just shows that Stelter not even aware of what's actually going on and transpiring, because it's gotten worse. And I think what he's trying to do is downplay that. You've got Brian Stelter out there trying to downplay that, saying, oh, that video you're seeing, this is, you got to look at the timestamp because it may be days old. Nah, that's not what folks are seeing, because it really has just kind of gotten worse. And we've seen it over the course of this week, already. I mean, started Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's just been building, and the situation's gotten worse. And that's why the president, now yesterday, having to send in Marines to protect federal buildings, sending in an additional 2,000 guard troops. That's not because the situation now is less volatile than it was a few days ago. It's quite the reverse of that. So hardly a surprise that Brian Stelter doesn't have much of a handle on what's going on. And we're going to leave it there for today. That's a wrap from the bunker to this morning. Thank you so much. You made it through the entire video. So you've got my thanks, a special salute to the Bunker Brigade. Those are the folks that are here each and every day. Hit the like button, please, before you leave. I would really, really appreciate that. And we'll leave it there for today. I'll see you again tomorrow. So long until then. And I'm underground and gone.